You've been a lifelong salesman. You sell pots and pans door to door, isn't that right?
Well, that's absolutely right, yeah. And before I was selling pots and pans, I sold vegetables and peanuts right there I worked my way through the first grade.
Wow, through the first grade.
Through first grade, I really did. I bought my own clothes when I was in the first grade.
I need to institute that in my family. I need to get my kids earning.
I'd like you to please understand this. Every close won't work for everybody selling everything. Your experience, your judgment, and your common sense will be the determining factors. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, Ziglar, why do we need to know so many closes anyhow? Well, let me give you a basic reason for that. Dr. Herb True did some research at Notre Dame University. He discovered that only 4% of all of the salespeople in America will ask for the order 5 or more times. Now, I want to emphasize something. They do not necessarily ask those 5 times in the same interview. There are many presentations where, in fact, you do not ask for the order simply because you're gaining information so that you can make a legitimate proposal to them. When you're talking thousands and sometimes hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars, you don't walk in, make a presentation very many times, and walk out with a multi-million-dollar contract, though it does happen, especially if you expect it to happen. But what Dr. True discovered was simply this. Those who ask for the order over a period of time, sometimes in one sitting, more often in 2 or 3 sittings, at least 5 times, those 4% closed over 60% of all of the sales, meaning simply that they made over 60% of all of the income. You got to ask for the order. When I first got started in selling, one of the first things I was told was you close early, you close often, and you close late. How many of you have ever been told that, especially when you first got started in selling? Yeah. Well, the question comes up, how early is early? Let me emphasize this as strongly as I can emphasize it. You never ask for the order until you have given them some legitimate logical reason for giving you a yes answer. If you've not given them value before you ask for the order, you come across as a high-pressure type salesperson. I want to get this over and move on to the next prospect. Now, that's one of the reasons you give that value first, because once the prospect has said no, a little barrier goes up. You can get over it, but it is more difficult than if the barrier had never been raised. So give value before you ask for the order. And that leads us into what I call, is that fair enough close?
Well, that was fun looking at that good-looking devil there doing the sales training. I was ready to buy from him whatever he was selling that day.
Well, I think the biggest mistake we make in America is that we don't emphasize the fact that after you get your college education, now you need to know how to make money. Mm-hmm. And you need to know how to raise a family.
Yep.
You need to know how to teach people, your children particularly, what the right thing is and the way to do it.
We train a system in trying to teach people to provide value for their customers and to try to exceed their expectations. And people don't want to be a high-pressure person. Because of that, a lot of folks are afraid to ask for the order.
Yeah.
Now, as a speaker, you've been a great salesman. As a salesman, you've done this many years. What advice would you give to someone who's reluctant to ask for the order?
I'd say, well, if you're reluctant to ask for the order, I'll just tell you factly that you don't have a chance to make a sale until you ask. And if you guys are married, you probably had the experience of asking your wife to marry you, not just once or twice or the third time, but you kept asking because you knew what you wanted.
I had to ask many times.
And so what I'm saying to you is, be certain you've got something that you're selling that people want and need. And when you take that approach, then you're less likely to get all of that stuff about, well, things are bad right now. No, you have shown through your inspiration that you give them, they are listening. And if you follow through in a kindly, friendly way, not overselling, but simply telling the benefits, and here's what happens when you do enjoy the benefits.
Beautiful stuff.
Thanks for watching. If you want more tips on how to think, feel, and do better, check out these videos too. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave us a like if you enjoyed the content.